So far, we have looked at a range of different tools for evaluating a portfolio. But what you will note across all those tools is that they use a single measure of risk. Therefore, implicitly, we are assuming that risk remains constant across the entire life of the period that we are evaluating. In this learning objective, we discuss the problems with evaluating a portfolio that changes its composition and hence maybe changes in risk profile across time. So to identify problems associated with the change in composition, let's imagine we have the following example. Let's say we hold a portfolio in 2 years. In the first year, we construct portfolio such it was in low risk, low return asset. So excess return in each quarter for 4 quarters was 1%, -1%, +3%, -1%, and +3%. Let's then imagine that in the second year, we may use leverage or invested in higher risk, higher return asset such that the returns, the excess returns each quarter in the second year is -9%, +27%, -9%, and +27% respectively. Now, how would it go if we wanted to evaluate the performance of this portfolio year on year? So across the first year, our average excess return, that means if we take an average of these all quarters, -1%, +3%, -1%, and +3%, then average return is 1% and the standard deviation will be 2%. Similarly, if we evaluate second year, that means if we take average excess return, average return of -9 +27, -9 and +27%, then average excess return is 9% and standard deviation of returns is 18%. Okay. Now, let's suppose that across this 2-year period, the Sharpe ratio of the market was 0.4. So what did that mean? You can see that Sharpe ratio of the managed portfolio is 0.5 in the first year, and Sharpe ratio of the managed portfolio is also 0.5 in the second year. Now, if the Sharpe ratio for the market is 0.4 across this 2-year period, it means that we have outperformed the market in the first year because Sharpe ratio is higher than the market, and we also outperformed the market in the second year because Sharpe ratio is 0.5 compared to 0.4 of the market. Now, what would happen if we had to evaluate our Sharpe ratio over the full 2-year period? So we had incorporated a period where we have got a change in the structure of our portfolio as opposed to just evaluating over the low risk and high risk period. We evaluate a Sharpe ratio over the full 2-year periods. The average quarterly return across this period is 5%. That means average return for the entire 2-year period is 5%, and the standard deviation is 13.42%. And if we calculate Sharpe ratio over this 2-year period, it is 0.37. As we previously mentioned already, that the Sharpe ratio for the market is 0.4. So when we evaluate each year on their own, in year 1, we outperform the market. In year 2, we outperform the market. However, due to the change in the portfolio composition that occurred after 1 year, if we evaluate the portfolio over the full 2-year period, we would actually find that the portfolio appears underperformed because the Sharpe ratio of our portfolio is 0.37, whereas that of market is 0.4. So this example identifies the problem of trying to evaluate the performance of a portfolio that changes in its composition across time. And the key takeaway message is that you need to ensure that the risk profile of the asset or portfolio you are evaluating remains constant in order for your portfolio evaluation to be valid. Thank you very much.